Good morning, good evening, Mr. X's class. We're here to talk about the word mediate, which is the first level 4 word for week 6. So mediate is a verb, it's an action, and it basically means, to try to end a disagreement. So there's two meanings. There are two meanings. One is to try to end a disagreement between two or more groups of people by talking to them and trying to find things that everyone can agree on. So this one is you're trying to solve a conflict, an argument, trying to solve it. Definition 2 is almost the same, but in definition 2, it's to succeed. So mediate can have two meanings. It can mean you're trying to solve a conflict between people or groups, or number 2, you succeed in finding a solution to a disagreement. Either one, same word. So the key thing to notice is that mediate means it's the third person. So it's not like two people are fighting, somebody else comes in and tries to solve the problem. That's what mediate is. It's not the two people themselves, it's somebody else. And not just people, it can be companies, countries, lawsuits, right? Sometimes in some legal situations, there's even, there are people, official lawyers whose job is to mediate. So you can go to court and you're fighting against each other, but sometimes before that, you have mediation, which is where both sides come and they have a mediator, who's the outside person, tries to get them to talk to each other to solve their problem. Like, I don't know, it could be any kind of a court case that could happen. Another word for that is arbitrate, is the verb, and arbitration is when somebody tries to solve a problem legally so you're not going to court, you don't have a winner and loser, you try to get both sides to agree. So yeah, the key thing is it's a third person. It's not the two sides themselves. Somebody else comes in and tries to get them to talk and solve their problem. And so here's a sentence. I tried to mediate between the two groups of friends who were arguing. Although sometimes when you do that, it ends up being worse for you. So sometimes both sides end up not liking you. But yeah, so this would be there are two groups of friends who are fighting. One person comes in and says, what's your problem with the other group? And then you talk to them. What's their problem with that group? Try to get them to solve their problem. This is trying to solve the problem. This, I mediated an agreement, that's like succeeding. Yes, we solved the problem. I mediated an agreement between the two companies, could be two groups of people, any kind of situation like that. In Spanish, mediate, the sentence over here is in Romeo and Juliet. Anybody know Romeo and Juliet? There are the two families that are fighting. Yeah. Romeo's family and Juliet's family. In the beginning of the play, the prince tries to solve the problem. The prince is like the king of that city. And he gets them all together and he says, I'm tired of you guys fighting, no more fighting, we need to stop this. He tries to mediate, but he doesn't succeed. Right? Later on in the play, they start fighting again. And Romeo ends up killing a man and he has to run away because of that. So the prince tries to mediate, but he doesn't succeed. So it'd be definition 1. He's trying that, but it didn't work. Okay, word families, mediator with OR. What's that? What's OR? The person who does something. So the mediator is the person who mediates. Mediation. Does anybody know what the part of speech of that might be? So there's a noun. And this is any time in English that you have T-I-O-N, it's always a noun. Which can be confusing because sometimes in Spanish you can have S-I-O-N or you can have that kind of ending on a verb in Spanish, but never in English. Never in English. So, can't think of an example. Oh, like solucionar, right? In English we can't say that. We have to say solve. You can't say I'm going to solution the problem. But that's a mistake people sometimes make in English. But anyway, so just so you know, yeah, T-I-O-N, also S-I-O-N are noun endings. That tells you it's a noun if you see that. Always a noun. As I said, synonyms, arbitrate, intercede, or reconcile. All three of those are words that are similar to mediate. It's like you get in, somebody else comes in between people who are fighting, tries to solve their problem. So reconcile especially, reconcile is like definition 2. Reconcile is to succeed, I would say. And the first two are more like definition 1, trying to solve the problem. Maybe you don't succeed. Are there any questions about this word? And so pronunciation is mediate. Mediate. All right, thank you very much for watching and thank you for filming today. Did it record? Oh.